They said no life could grow there. They said nothing human could survive. And yet, when the galaxy looked into the heart of the dead world they had abandoned, they found something impossible. They found us. They found a garden, blooming where only ash was meant to be. Before I begin this story, if you love these kinds of HFY stories, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. It helps bring more of these tales to life. Now, let me take you to the place they called Hell. It was a world written off by every civilized species in the galaxy. A planet of fire and poison, where rivers ran black with heavy metals and storms tore across continents like angry gods. The Council had labeled it uninhabitable eons ago. Explorers had come, scanned, and fled. Colonists had tried and died. No machine, no dome, no seed had lasted more than a few months. But humans looked at it differently. Where others saw a death sentence, we saw a challenge. And more than that, we saw something of ourselves. A world scarred, battered, angerous, but not beyond saving. Not beyond patience, not beyond life. We were stubborn enough to try. The first wave wasn't soldiers. It wasn't engineers or scientists. It was farmers, botanists, gardeners, people who had spent their lives coaxing food from hostile ground back on Earth, or greening deserts where nothing but sand once ruled. They carried no weapons, only seeds and soil and a belief older than any empire that life finds a way. The galaxy called us mad. The Council accused us of wasting resources. Even our allies whispered behind closed doors, "The humans are throwing lives away." Maybe they were right. The first storms tore our shelters apart. Crops shriveled into dust. Men and women labored until their hands bled, only to watch whole fields drown in acidic rain. By every metric of reason, it was hopeless. But we were too damn stubborn to leave. Where others saw soil poisoned beyond repair, our farmers tested, mixed, and built microbes from scratch that ate the toxins. Where storms tore the land, we planted deep-rooted vines to bind it. Where the sun baked the ground until it cracked like glass, we carried water in hand-built cisterns, pouring it drop by drop day after day. We buried our dead in the soil we were trying to heal, and from their resting places, flowers began to bloom. It wasn't paradise. It was pain. It was years of unrelenting struggle, nights when the fires swept through everything, and mornings when we started again with nothing but ash in our hands. But then, the first orchard bloomed. Small trees, their fruit bitter, hard, barely edible. But they were ours. Life where there had been none. And the galaxy noticed. At first they mocked. Then they doubted. Then they watched in silence. And when the air monitors registered the first breathable pocket of atmosphere where there had been only poison before, silence turned to shock. Generations passed. What had begun as stubbornness became legacy. Children were born under skies once written off as dead. They played in fields of grain where alien scanners had sworn nothing could grow. And when alien visitors came, tentative, cautious, they were greeted not with guns, but with baskets of fruit. The garden spread. Root by root, field by field. The air cleared. The storms softened. The planet, once called Hell, began to sing again. But here's the part the galaxy never understood. Why we did it. Why we poured our blood into cursed soil when there were endless habitable worlds waiting for colonization. Why we chose to suffer here. The answer was simple. Because it mattered. Because to walk away would mean accepting limits. It would mean admitting there were places life couldn't go. And that's not who we are. We plant gardens in hell not because it is easy, not because it is safe, but because it proves something fundamental. That humans do not yield. That life, with our hands to guide it, can flourish anywhere. And the galaxy began to learn from us. Civilizations brought their ruined worlds to us, begging for help. Planets once stripped by war, poisoned by industry, scarred by centuries of neglect, Our farmers went there with seeds and patience and showed them how to heal. Empires that had conquered through force saw that we conquered through roots and water and persistence, that we could turn wastelands into breadbaskets, that we could make the impossible bloom. And somewhere along the way, the galaxy stopped calling us mad. They started calling us gardeners of the stars. We never sought power. We never sought conquest. All we did was plant and water and wait. But that was enough. Because when you make life where there was none before, people remember. They honor it. They revere it. And so hell became something else entirely. A sanctuary, a shrine, a reminder that no matter how broken a world seems, it can be healed. We didn't just plant crops. We planted hope. And that was the garden we planted in hell. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to hit like and subscribe. It helps us bring you more stories. And tell me in the comments, if you could plant a garden anywhere in the universe, even in the most impossible place, where would you choose? Thank you for listening, and remember, life finds a way.